Ever wonder how those grocery stores keep their shelves packed with all that fresh food?
Well, get ready.
We're taking a deep dive into the world of farm management, and trust me,
Oh, yeah,
it's way more high-tech and interesting than you might expect.
it's true.
So we've been checking out RoleCatcher. It's like this gold mine of career resources, and they've got some really cool insights into this surprisingly complex field.
Yeah, it's a lot more to it than people realize.
But before we get into all the details, I'm curious,
Yeah.
what got you interested in this in the first place? Is it being outside all the time?
hmm
Or is it more the challenge of like managing this whole operation, or what is it?
Yeah, that's a good question to think about because to be a farm manager today, you need like this unique mix of old school skills and this super cutting edge knowledge.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In my work doing career analysis, I've seen firsthand just how much technology is changing the game for agriculture. It's not just about, having a green thumb anymore. It's about data analysis, it's about sustainability, it's even about robotics now.
That's so cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's break down this whole modern farm manager thing.
Yeah.
Like, what does a normal day actually look like for these folks, according to RoleCatcher? They make it sound anything but simple. It's a mix of working outdoors, you're dealing with crazy weather, who knows what's going to happen. And at the same time, you've got to make these big picture decisions about crops, livestock, money, even marketing.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's this balancing act. Right. You've got the art of farming,
Mm.
but then you've got to mix that with the science of like running a business. And don't forget about people skills.
Oh, right.
You're in charge of a whole team. You got to keep them motivated, especially when things get tough.
That's a good point. They use this term in RoleCatcher that really stuck with me, physically demanding.
Mm-hmm.
They even mention heavy machinery.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about, like, puttering around in the garden anymore, huh?
No, not at all. Today's farm managers have to be as comfortable behind the wheel of a like GPS guided tractor as they are, crunching numbers on a spreadsheet.
No.
We're talking about high-tech irrigation systems, drones flying around checking on the crops, and using all this data to make every single part of the farm run better.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of different skills to really make it in this field. So how do you even get started on this whole farm management journey? What's the career path look like?
It's a journey.
It is. RoleCatcher actually maps out a pretty clear path. You start with entry-level jobs, like being a farm worker, and then you work your way all the way up to senior farm manager.
Mm-hmm.
They even have these example profiles. They're like little snapshots of what someone at each stage of their career might actually say about their job. It's like getting a sneak peek into the future.
Oh, I love those profiles. You can really see how the work changes as you move up. At the beginning, it's a lot of hands-on tasks. But as you get more senior, it becomes more about strategy and making big decisions. Like they have the senior farm manager talking about analyzing market trends and implementing sustainable practices.
Wow.
That's a far cry from someone who's just starting out.
Totally. It really shows how important it is to keep learning new things in this line of work. But even at the entry level, it's not just about, planting seeds. RoleCatcher says you're doing things like operating machinery, keeping basic records, even learning about how to keep those crops healthy.
Exactly. And this is where that cool skills gap feature comes in. Imagine you upload your resume, right? And then RoleCatcher goes to work like magic. It compares your skills to what different farm manager jobs actually require.
Oh, wow.
It's wild. It's basically like having your own career coach,
Right.
But instead of a person, it's this super smart technology
Right?
that tells you exactly what you need to work on to get your dream job.
That's amazing.
It's a game changer for sure.
Definitely. It really makes you think about all those skills you have that could be useful, even if they don't seem like farm skills. Like maybe you've never driven a tractor before, but you're great at managing projects. RoleCatcher helps you make those connections.
Totally. And speaking of connections, you know what surprised me?
What's that?
The job outlook for farm managers is actually really good.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's not something you'd expect in this day and age.
Yeah.
With all the tech and everything, you'd think everything on a farm would be automated by now.
Right. You'd think so.
So what's driving that demand?
Well, first off, there are more people in the world than ever before, which means
More mouths to feed.
exactly, more mouths to feed, so we need to produce way more food. But it's not just about quantity either. The whole landscape of agriculture is changing.
You mean with all those cool technological advancements we were talking about?
Exactly. Think about it. Precision agriculture. Using all those sensors and data to make decisions about like when to irrigate, how much fertilizer to use, even the perfect time to harvest.
It's amazing.
It's like the farm itself is becoming this high-tech data center.
So true.
Mm.
But it's not just about being efficient, right? I mean,
Mhm.
RoleCatcher also talks a lot about how important sustainable farming practices are becoming.
Oh, absolutely. People want to know where their food comes from, and they want to know it's being produced in a way that's good for the planet.
Exactly.
So farm managers are the ones on the front lines figuring out how to make those sustainable practices a reality, like using less water, cutting down on pesticides, things like that.
It's really incredible how this one job combines so much traditional knowledge with all this cutting-edge technology.
Hmm.
Okay, so speaking of new and exciting things, let's talk about something a bit more practical. RoleCatcher has this whole section on how to get ready for farm manager interviews,
Oh, yeah, they go all in on that.
which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, and it's not just your typical generic interview advice. They actually talk about the qualities that people hiring farm managers are really looking for.
Like what kinds of things? Give me an example.
Okay, so one question they highlight is, tell me about a time you had to make a tough decision with very little information.
Ooh, that's a good one.
They're trying to see how well you can solve problems on the fly.
That's really important, especially on a farm, right? I mean, there are always unexpected challenges popping up, like crazy weather or equipment breaking down.
Exactly. And those decisions, they can have some serious consequences.
Hmm.
For the crops, the animals, even the people working on the farm, they want someone who can stay calm and handle that kind of pressure.
So it's not enough to just know how to plant stuff and keep the soil healthy. You have to be a leader, a strategic thinker, and a problem solver all at the same time.
Exactly. Plus, let's not forget communication skills. You're going to be managing people, working with suppliers, maybe even marketing the farm's products.
Wow, that's a lot. It really is a much more multifaceted role than most people probably realize. So what does RoleCatcher recommend for actually prepping for these interviews?
Their biggest tip: tailor your answers to the specific farm or company you're interviewing for.
Yeah, that's always good advice.
It's crucial.
But especially in this field. Because, I mean, a small organic farm is going to be way different from a huge commercial operation.
Exactly. Do your research beforehand, figure out what they care about, what their values are,
Right.
how do they produce their food. If you get those little details right, you'll show them that you're a perfect fit.
It's not enough to just say, I love farming. You have to show them you love their kind of farming.
You got it. And this might seem a little strange,
What's that?
but RoleCatcher also says to think about all those skills you might have from other jobs and how those could be useful in farm management.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Give me some examples, like what kinds of skills are we talking about here? What other skills could be surprisingly useful on a farm?
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever thought about logistics or supply chain management?
Not really.
That kind of experience could be super valuable on a farm.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You're basically coordinating all these deliveries, managing inventory, making sure everything runs smoothly, just like a well-oiled machine.
It's like orchestrating this intricate dance. But instead of dancers, it's tractors and combines.
Exactly. Or maybe you've got a knack for data analysis or marketing.
Oh yeah, those are becoming more and more important these days.
They're in super high demand as farms become more data-driven and consumer-focused.
Makes sense. So it's really about showing those potential employers that you're adaptable and ready to learn new things, which are key for any successful farm manager, right?
Absolutely. It's all about showing you're in it for the long haul.
And it sounds like RoleCatcher gives you the tools and the know-how to really connect those dots for potential employers.
Exactly. They're all about giving you the power to create the career you want.
I love that. Well, we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive. From what it's really like to be a farm manager day to day to all the exciting things happening in the future of agriculture.
It's an exciting time to be in agriculture.
It is. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Imagine it's a few years down the line. You're officially a farm manager and things are going great. What does your farm look like? What kind of crops are you growing? Are you raising any livestock? Have you incorporated any of that cool new tech we talked about, like drones or precision agriculture?
It's fun to think about.
It really is. This deep dive has given us a glimpse into this dynamic world of modern agriculture, a world where old-school traditions meet cutting-edge innovation.
It's a world that never sits still. There are so many incredible opportunities out there, especially for people who are passionate about good food, tech, and building a more sustainable future.
So well said. So, as you continue on this journey of exploring farm management, remember to stay curious. Never stop learning.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe you'll even inspire our next deep dive.